Tuesdays. I'm Ryan. It's been a while.
He's back.
Back and
we're here
ready.
Yeah. We're here with Margot
Hi.
and Adam.
Hello. The usual crew back.
Together again.
How you guys been?
Months in the making.
We've been good.
Been pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of not doing a whole lot. Just existing. I feel like Ryan, you've been living like a crazy life for the past 2 months. Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. Do we want to get into that first, or do we want to tease that for later and talk about Comic-Con first?
I guess I can talk about it now. I mean, long story
Let's do
short,
it.
I've been traveling a little bit. I was in Colorado.
Very fun.
Traveled a few other places too, but mostly Texas. Working on a wind project down there. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
Awesome.
this week was Comic-Con.
The big one.
Yeah.
Is it the biggest one? I always describe San Diego Comic-Con as the biggest, but some people say New York is the biggest. But I feel like everything gets announced at San Diego.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I
it's
I
at
didn't
least
even
the
know other
biggest
Comic-Cons
media-wise.
existed for like announcements. I thought every other one was just like meet people maybe.
I think
Mhm.
they are. I feel like San Diego is the only one that they show off.
Then that's
stuff
the big
and
one.
everything.
Yeah.
At least, I don't know. Maybe they do stuff with others.
Did you see the Game of Thrones, the Lord of the Rings trailer?
No.
Oh, no, I had not.
There's apparently a Lord of the Rings trailer.
I know there's a
Might be
show
boycotting.
on Amazon.
Yeah.
Boycotting Lord of the Rings?
Oh wait. Oh, I did see that trailer.
Yeah.
If that's the Amazon one,
hmm
yeah, I might be. In the sense of I hated The Hobbit, and now I'm so like scarred from the Hobbit movies that I
Why?
might
Okay.
not want to see more.
So beyond that wild take, that makes no sense. I enjoyed the Hobbit movies.
They were so dumb. Ugh.
I enjoyed them. I was actually like literally 30 seconds before we started, I was talking about how my criteria for movies are: did I have fun while watching? Then it was a good movie, and I enjoyed.
But
like,
I
had
didn't
fun
have
watching
fun
the Hobbit
watching
movies.
them.
That's fair. I think the
I
second
don't
Hobbit movie is
remember
really
anything
good.
about the Hobbit movies.
Oh God.
The
Yeah, I
second
like
Hobbit
them.
movie is
They were
really
fun.
good.
Had
I do think the
action,
second is the best.
adventure.
The first one is so stupid.
The first one is too long.
It's too long, and he just runs around going like, "I'm going on an adventure," and it's like, okay, bud. Like, it was like, it's the whole thing, and I get that they couldn't like go through his whole thought process because it's a movie and not a book. But in the book, he like has a whole thought process where he does say no, and then he's like, you know what? No, okay. But in the movie, he's just like, absolutely not. And then like smash cut to the next morning. I'm going on an adventure. Not quite, but basically, and it was stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. But those movies are complicated because, like, even Peter Jackson was like, I'm not a fan of those movies. And, like, I think the third one is probably the worst of them.
Yeah.
But, like, the reason it is that way is because Peter Jackson, like, would literally call lunch breaks every, like, hour so he could write more of the script.
I love
There
it.
was
That sounds
no
quite
plan.
bad.
It was not great, which is why there's so many fight scenes.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are some, like, really
There was
silly
a-
things that happen. Like, do you remember the scene where, like, Legolas is, like, on a building that's crumbling and, like, the pieces are falling down and he's, like, running in slow motion?
I think
Nope,
vaguely.
that sounds great.
Very
I
silly,
love stuff
but
like
great.
that.
Like,
That's such
I
like
love
an
the
anime
Lord of the
thing,
Rings
and
movies.
If anime was good, maybe I would watch it, but no.
Hot takes
That's a
today.
joke.
Oh my
But I
God.
do love that when like crumbling buildings and then running along the debris. I don't know. It's silly. It's great.
All I can picture is that like stereotypical 80s like running away from an explosion man scene, you know the one that's in everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I loved the Lord of the Rings movies, hated the Hobbit movies, and now I don't know how I feel about the Amazon one. It looks pretty, but like I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
So it looking pretty is not doing enough for me.
Have any of you guys read The Cimmerillion?
Nope.
No.
Okay. It's a
I've
Lord
heard
of
it's
the
also
Rings
not
book.
a. It's not a story. It's like a history
Yes.
thing, isn't it?
It is
Yeah.
basically
Oh,
a
are they
history
doing like
book.
one of those like beast things with Harry Potter?
No,
Like where they
there's
just
just
took a
stories.
textbook and they were like,
It's just not like a story.
It's literally
from
like
what
a
I know, the
history
story-
of Middle Earth, and
Yeah.
it's a
But
little
there's
bit
like
janky
events
too.
talking about. It's not like the Fantastic Beasts where it's like this is just a guide to fantasy monsters.
Right.
There's nothing in there. Like there is like not plot, but there are like events and stuff.
Okay.
As far as
That's
I know.
better.
There's like a whole section on like the gates of Rohan and how those gates got there and how they're magical because there was a whole battle that involved it, so they had to build these gates and all that. And
Sure.
it's a very boring read because it's literally just a textbook. But I can understand how some people think it's really great.
So, like, I love writers of all sorts who put so much detail into, like, every single aspect of their world. I think that's great. I think it's wonderful. I don't want to see it, usually, you know? Like, I think that's true of something like this. I think that's, like, true of a lot of Star Wars things where people will be like, "Oh, I have so much lore for this scene," but also like, I don't care. Like, did they get in a spaceship and do a thing? Sure. And then I don't know. I just feel like I see that a lot sometimes where people will try to like really over explain one like tiny bit of a story that it's like, or not even a story, but just like the world. And I get world building is important, but at some point you're lacking story and only focusing on building the world, and that's when it like starts to become a bit of an issue.
I'm interested in the new ones. I don't know. So I think like Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth is like so cool because it's your basic fantasy and it does it really
Right.
well.
Mhm.
But I watched the trailer and I was like, I want to care about this so badly, but I just can't for some reason. I don't know why. I was like, this does not like interest me. Like I'm really hoping it comes out and everyone's like, oh, it's so good, you gotta watch it, because that would
Right.
like make me want to watch it. But right now I'm like, I don't know.
It was such a nothing trailer. Like it was
Yeah.
just like a bunch of pretty shots, which
They
again
show
I need more.
Sauron and
Sure.
he looks interesting. Not very much not what the books have, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And also
Fair.
like one of the big things too is like Sauron didn't like Sauron wasn't always evil. He was actually like a really good guy. And then like or Saruman, not Sauron. Wow. I'm
They're
messing
similar.
up here. Exactly.
Very similar.
Lord of the Rings fans are going to be upset. Saruman was
man,
like
we're gonna
I already
Canceled.
offended anime
by
fans.
the power of
Yeah.
Sauron.
They already tuned out.
And so like that was more like a recent development. Like that happens at like the Fellowship of the Ring, which also that's one of the things the Hobbit gets wrong because they make him sort of like act like all evil and mischievous, but he was good then.
Yeah.
Anyway, also like
Another reason I hate that.
yeah, in like this show, which is going to be like many years before any of those events, he should be good, but they make him sort of like act a little evil, or at least he looks evil.
Right.
I don't know. It's interesting. I might watch it. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. What is the Game of Thrones thing? Because aren't they doing something? Game of Thrones?
Yes.
House of Dragon.
House of
is it
Dragon,
called?
yeah.
Sure.
I think it's about when the first Targaryen comes to Westeros.
Okay.
Maybe.
So we're in
I
an
think.
origin story era.
Yeah. And that's actually like a sort of a cool story.
Okay.
Yeah. The Dance with Dragons, I think it's called in the books. Or is that maybe a different? There's a lot.
There's a lot.
I have not read the books, but I've read about stuff online, and there's a lot. It's complicated.
Mhm.
Delightful news in release world is that they decided to nix the Kyoshi animated series that they were going to do for Avatar, and instead they're doing an adult Aang thing with like everyone, like the whole gang
They're not doing
live in as
Kyoshi?
young adults. No, they're not. They might do it later, but right now they're replacing it with a young adult.
Actually,
group.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I like that as much. Because
Yeah.
I think it's fun to
Mhm.
go with characters that you know, but I think
Sure.
at some point you got to stop relying on the characters that everyone knows and likes and do more original stories with things that you haven't done yet, which would be
Yeah.
perfect for Kyoshi, of like completely like, reference character. She's in a tiny bit, but for the most part, you don't know anything about her. So you have a rich field of that you could plant whatever you want,
Right.
or you can just do the same thing over again, which
Yeah.
I feel like might be. I mean, I think everyone does want to know what happened to them when they were kids, because
Yeah.
in Korra they like hint at it and don't ever talk about it.
Mhm.
But I think I'd like original one more.
Yeah.
And like not a ton was announced about that, so I don't know if it's going to be like based on any of the comics that take place after the thing, or if it's going to be even later than those, but still pre anyone's death. So we'll see.
When's the Avatar live action supposed to come out?
Great question.
Next year.
I also have no faith in that.
Danny Pudi was cast in it,
Oh, interesting.
so I have faith again. Yeah, he's cast as the mechanic guy that teaches Sokka how to make hot air balloons and shit.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. All the like live action of things Netflix has done has not really been great.
I
It
like
says
Series of Unfortunate Events. I guess there was never like an animated series of that, so I don't know why that was the first one that came to mind, but it was.
It says they do not have a release date yet for it, but they
Okay.
just wrapped filming. So next
Theoretically, next year or early 2024.
early 24 would be late. Hopefully next year.
Yeah, we'll see.
I feel like Stranger Things took about maybe less than a year to once they wrapped
Since they
filming.
wrapped.
Then
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like that's usually how long
Yeah,
things take.
I'm just imagining
anyway-
all the CG they have to do, but I guess they had to do a ton for Stranger Things. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and a ton for Umbrella Academy.
Mm.
Ryan, do you watch Umbrella Academy?
No.
you would love it.
Just as a brief note, there's a character in Umbrella Academy that is a monkey,
Mhm.
Pogo. For whatever reason, they must spend their entire CGI budget on this character because he looks completely real for an entirely CG character.
Genuinely so amazing.
Stunning. Like every time you're like, how is this happening?
And they also have plenty of other weird ass, like there was one guy who had like a fish tank for a head kind of thing. And
Yeah.
like that stuff always looks kind of like, all right. Like it's not the best thing that you've seen, but it's certainly not the worst CGI. There's definitely not Pogo level, and Pogo
Yeah.
is incredible.
They must spend every bit of their budget on that. I mean, not saying that everything else looks bad. Like
No,
everything else looks fine.
yeah, but that's
It's
the
just,
thing is
it's
it looks
just
fine.
something different about Pogo.
It's great. Oh man, yeah.
Caitlin and I started watching a show called First Kill on Netflix.
What's that about?
It is lesbian vampires.
Classic.
It's like love story. One girl is a lesbian, the other girl, or they're both lesbians. One girl is a vampire. The other,
Lesbians and vampires notoriously love each other.
the other girl is a monster hunter. And they
Oh,
fall in
good.
love. And it has gotten mixed reviews. Caitlin and I have been enjoying it, but it is very like cheesy. It's effectively like any of the shows that teenagers would fall in love with, like Vampire Diaries
Mm,
type stuff, where it's like,
right.
but it's fun.
Yeah, I'm on board.
But there's CGI in that for some of the monsters every now and again, and it's like, oh yeah, we know when they get a budget and when they do not. Because
Sure.
the monsters, while like fine, but they're very much like, oh yeah, this is like a CW type. Look at our monster, as opposed to like, wow, that looks incredible, like in Umbrella Academy.
It's really funny to me because so much of me when I'm not watching it is like, I don't know if I could really tell bad CGI. And I'm like, it's just what it is. Like, whatever I'm watching, I can like suspend my disbelief enough to like
Yeah,
be like,
yeah,
yeah, that's
sure.
what that is. But then sometimes when I am watching something, I'm like, oh, that's bad CGI.
It's not that level. It's just like
Okay.
because what happened was we finished Umbrella Academy and then immediately started watching First Kill. So it was like
Totally.
comparing the budget differences. It was like, oh yeah, like this still looks totally fine, but
Mhm.
because we just saw something that looks way better, it looks
Yeah.
worse. But it doesn't look bad.
Sure. Yeah. No, Umbrella Academy was great. Every season it's like essentially the same super basic level plot of like, oh no, we've got to fix something, and then they fix it kind of, but then they make a mistake, and so like
everything
something
works
else
somehow.
goes wrong. But every single season it has hooked me immediately and been like, yeah, this is incredible.
It's so great. It's so zany and
Mhm.
fun, and the character interactions are fantastic.
Not a single character is wasted.
No.
Is something I really enjoy. So a delight. Ryan, did you watch Obi-Wan?
I did. I loved it.
Sorry, Adam. Okay.
I didn't, but I don't care if you spoil it because I'm not gonna watch it.
Fair. What do you love about it?
It was amazing. It's everything
Okay.
I could have wanted. Obi-Wan going on an adventure, throwing Leia in. I was like, oh my god, this makes
Sure.
sense.
Mhm.
Like, Leia knows who Obi-Wan is. That fits.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it before, but that, like, really fits. Like, him going on a journey, him, like, leaving Tatooine. Because, I don't know, I think, like, Obi-Wan and Boba Fett had, like, a reverse problem where it's like, Boba Fett, like, he's a bounty hunter. He could go anywhere. And for
Mhm.
some reason, that entire show keeps him on Tatooine.
Sure.
He never
The most
leaves.
important planet.
And then this show is like, I was a little worried. I was like, they're gonna keep him on Tatooine the entire time because like he can't go anywhere, but he could. He just has to be like really secretive about it, and he does. And
Yeah.
it's really great. He goes on a fun journey. I thought it was great. They
Fair.
threw in like some expanded lore stuff in there too.
Mhm.
He gets to fight Vader. Very cool.
Well, that's fair.
Good time.
No. Fair enough. I do like that Leia was in it. I think that was definitely a big plus for me. I know some people were really mad about it at the beginning, but I was like, no, she needs to meet him so that she can like talk to him later on and be like her little like senator self. But yeah. Delightful. What other things pop culture wise have we like missed in the past 2 months?
I also saw you didn't like Obi-Wan as much, Mark.
Oh, I didn't like Obi-Wan as much. It was fine. I think it was like I'm really happy that they fixed it in the end with their second fight, but the first fight pissed me off between
Yeah, I remember
Obi-Wan and
watching.
Vader.
I think that was a different podcast episode.
It was. Yeah. It's just like guys, there's that whole line. But
Yeah, I
it's
walked away
fine.
from that fight assuming there would be more because like Obi-Wan like has to win
Right.
the fight from like how it sounds.
Yeah. But it was just like, okay, sure, I get it. Like that was something that I was like, this is gonna be fixed. We all know it will be, because it would be kind of lame for like the titular character to suck at fighting the whole series and never get any better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved our little bit of fan service with Qui-Gon at the end. That was wonderful. I did not like the third sister's like, ooh, I'm gonna kill his kid that he doesn't know about, and then he'll see storyline, because that was just a bit goofy.
I sort of liked her. I was like, oh, I wonder what they do with her.
I liked her. I just hated her revenge plot in that like last episode. I just thought that was stupid. But I think she was a really interesting character, and yeah, generally speaking, I also liked most of Obi-Wan's plotline. Like most of the issues that I had with the series weren't actually about him, except for that one fight scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was fine.
Mhm.
I probably liked it just as much as I liked Boba Fett.
That's fair. I like this. I think this is probably my favorite. I will probably
Really?
rewatch it again.
like even over
sometimes.
Mandalorian.
It's like up there.
Okay,
It's like
Interesting.
tied with Mandalorian season 2.
fascinating. Okay, alrighty. Like,
But yeah, I don't know. I was thinking, I drove 12 hours yesterday, and I was thinking about Star Wars, and I was like, man, Star Wars is silly, isn't it?
oh yeah.
Like,
Very cheesy.
Episode 3 really has caused a lot of problems as far as like setting up the rest of the show. Like it
Fair.
sort of gives away that like, Luke is related to Anakin. There's a
Right.
weird line in episode 6 where like Leia's like, yeah, I remember my mom before she passed away, and it's like, no you don't. There's no way you do.
Right.
um
Yeah.
Also, it's like a little weird too, like, because I was watching like episode 3 clips, and like at the end of it, like they're talking about how like they're gonna go like have Luke and Leia, and then when they come of age, they'll train them.
Mhm.
Then why in episode 5 when like Luke comes to visit Yoda, is Yoda like, nah, I can't train him, he's too old? I thought that was the plan. Did he just like forget about the plan?
He was old. He was losing a
Yoda's
little bit.
bad at plans. We've seen it throughout the whole thing. He's a little goofball. He needs a secretary.
And for Yoda, who has conceivably lived like 700 years, in 20 years to go from like a very competent war general to a kooky old man.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, like a year after that, he like dies. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fine. It might not be a year, maybe more.
Yeah.
We're gonna get
Also-
so many fans mad at us this whole episode.
I was
Just
thinking
pissing off
too,
left and right.
with like Reva finding like Luke, it's like, yeah, that makes sense because they hid the kid on this planet, the planet Anakin was on, and they didn't change his last name.
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker's son goes missing. Oh, maybe it's this guy Luke Skywalker. I don't know. It's silly.
Who's like
It's just a
with
really
family.
common last name.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's like Joan. There's 100 Skywalkers out there.
Luke Smith.
I just
but
love
yeah.
how they went all this effort. Like, we gotta hide the kids, but they don't change one of their last names.
No.
Or they put Leia with like the
High
senator
profile,
that everybody
yeah.
was, that Obi-Wan was hanging out with all the time.
And
Yeah.
that Padme was besties with.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I wonder where they went. Although I thought the plot kind of hinged on that Vader did not know that he had kids. or
No,
kids.
the whole thing was, oh, they died in
Wasn't real.
childbirth along with your wife. You killed 3 people. How do you feel
Oh,
about that
okay.
now?
So you just thought they
and then he's
died.
like, no. Yeah. Whole time. I have seen episode 3 a lot in my lifetime. I think 3, 5, and 6 are the ones that I've seen most. Probably 6 being most, then 5, then 3. And all of them have a lot of problems plot wise as soon as you add any other movies to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's great. We love that.
That's why I think it's interesting for like newer Star Wars, where it's like they're trying to do the best they can.
Truly, I really think the series could have been completely like adequate and like on level with at least the prequels, if they just had a different episode 9. Like 7 and 8 were both perfectly acceptable Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, this could be Star Wars. And then episode 9 happened, and you're like, well, all right, that's a little much.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. But I hope Obi-Wan gets another season. Maybe him doing some
I'm
stuff with
sure
Qui-Gon.
it will. I'd be weird to be like, we're gonna get the band back together and then tell you no, you can't see them
Yeah.
play. Yeah.
Did you see Harry Styles might be in Star Wars?
Hairstyles and everything.
Yeah.
And the
This man's an
Eternals, too.
actor now. Like,
I didn't know he could act. He showed up at the end of Eternals, and I was like, "Can Harry Styles act?"
he's in that freaky
He could.
cult movie.
A freaky cult movie.
There's a freaky cult movie where it's like him and some woman who I think is actually like a well-known person that I just don't know, so I'm so sorry to her fans as well. But like they go to a 1950s looking thing, and then it's a cult, and it's like weird. I don't know. The trailer freaked me out, and I was like, well, that's a movie I won't see. And that's
Oh,
about
Don't
that.
Worry, Darling.
Yep, that sounds right.
Oh, that looks really good. But
I,
there's some
it
interesting.
seems like
there's some
interesting.
tea, some interesting behind the scenes drama.
wait,
apparently.
spill the tea.
So, the director is Olivia Wilde,
Right.
who used to be married to the SNL guy who does Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Don't
Oh
remember
yeah.
his
Oh
name.
wait, I remember this. The like restraining order thing.
A little bit, yeah.
Is that what you're
So
talking about?
I don't know.
Jason
So-
Sudeikis is it?
Yeah. So essentially, she sort of like left him and the family to go be with Harry Styles.
Oh, okay.
Isn't she
And
older?
what?
Isn't she older?
And so
Like how much older?
I don't know, but definitely a little bit older.
Okay.
I guess I don't know how old Harry Styles is. I am just remembering when back in like high school, I associate Harry Styles with being like 25. He's probably older than that. Maybe he's in his early 30s.
I have no idea.
So maybe it's actually not that weird. And maybe Olivia Wilde's like 40s. I have no reference for these actors' ages.
She's 10 years older.
Okay.
not bad.
He's
that's-
28, she's 38.
I mean,
That's not awful.
But interesting too because I guess
Who
Florence
are you,
Pugh,
Adam?
who
It
is
could be
like,
worse. In Hollywood, I expect very bad. So to
Okay.
be like, it's 10 years. I was expecting like, what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio dating like 20-year-olds.
We
Like,
have
Oh,
like
yeah.
50
I was
episodes
expecting
where
him
you're
to
like,
way
2
worse.
years is too much.
he never dates anyone that's like older than like 25.
look, it ranges.
Right.
I just heard this rule, which I didn't know was a thing, of half your age plus 7,
Yeah.
I think, is like a rule of thumb, which I is probably fairly accurate, and maybe I would add a little bit to that plus. But
Okay.
for the most part, I feel like the age up gets bigger as you get older.
I don't. Oh, yeah, maybe. But that's creepy right now for me, and for all of us, I assume.
Well, so 23, so it's divided by 2, so 12 plus 7
Sure.
is 19, which is creepy. So
Yeah.
I would do like plus 9 maybe, because then it's 21, and I would be like, yeah.
Right. I do think
That's
that
only
would be the
2 years
bottom
younger.
line. Yeah. Yeah. Who's to say? Hollywood is weird rules for.
But yeah, I just expect very bad things from Hollywood.
Yeah, that's
so
fair. I get it now. Yeah.
to have like something that's
Like just 10
only
years.
10 years is
Right.
not as bad.
Fair enough. But wait, so the tea is just that she left her family to be with him.
Yeah, and so they're doing a movie together. But also Florence, like,
Oh, is she the lead in it? Is
she's
she the one that I
lead
didn't know
in
the
it.
name of? She's the one I didn't know the name of.
Yes. I guess there's some drama with her and Olivia, and so like she's like, I don't know, not really talking about the movie, which is
That's-
interesting because like she promotes all her projects,
Uh-huh.
and so there's some behind the scenes drama that will probably come out over the next few months.
Speaking
Wow.
of age differences, isn't Florence Pugh dating some super old dude?
Let's see. I don't know. Did you see that stuff
she was
about
in Black Widow,
she was Yelena? Oh, did
but
you see
she's
Black Widow?
she's been in
No.
other things.
I do think I vaguely know the person you're talking about though, via trailers.
She was in Midsummer, a movie you most definitely did not see.
No, but if she was the lead in that, then I know the poster with the little flowers.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's
The
dating
flower woman.
she's dating Zach Braff, who is 47, and she is 26.
Wow.
So,
Is Zach
28.
Braff Scrubs?
Yeah, I think so.
I love
Mhm.
Scrubs. Bummer that he's creepy, but also okay.
I don't think that's okay. Maybe a little.
20 years?
I think like after 25, you're good.
She's only 26.
Did you hear about
That's
Elon
only
Musk's
3
The
years
dad?
older
brain
than
just
me.
developed. Wait, what about him?
Elon Musk's dad
Oh
Okay.
yeah, he's like
Oh.
just had a kid or like just got someone
with
pregnant or
his
something.
stepdaughter.
Oh.
Yeah, creepy.
That's weird. Don't do that. Definitely don't do that.
Yeah.
No.
Pro tip of the day: don't be like that guy.
Mhm. And I liked his reason. He's like, "Well, we were put on this earth to like create life," and it's
God,
like,
that's so
yeah, you got a
stupid.
lot of options.
Yeah,
Other than
it
your
doesn't have to be your
stepdaughter.
stepdaughter. Yeah,
Disgusting.
absolutely. Also, no, you were not put on this earth to create life. Just personal opinion. That's
Back
such
to
a stupid thing
Comic-Con.
to say.
On other Comic-Con news, did you guys see like DC's stuff?
No, because I don't actively follow Comic-Con stuff. It's just like, oh wow, a lot of trailers are coming out right now, and then someone tells me Comic-Con is happening, and I'm like, that makes sense.
DC didn't really do anything. They didn't even
What?
show the Flash. I mean, they showed like another trailer for Black Adam,
Didn't Flash get delayed?
probably
I could be wrong about that.
because they're
I
like
feel
not
like-
sure what to
I
do
just-
with that.
I just know
Right.
that the main actor
It's crazy.
caused a
Mhm.
bunch of a big kerfuffle, and it
He's
A lot of
wasn't great.
kerfuffles.
He's like, I'm gonna do some crimes, and then he's like, okay, maybe I won't do crimes. Nope, I'm like holding someone hostage. I just
Yeah.
punched someone in a bar. I just punched another person in a different bar.
I broke
threw
into
a chair in a
someone's
third
house.
bar.
I did see the Black Adam trailer before Thor, and
Yeah, it looks great.
Oh,
It looks
Sure.
like I would see it on streaming. I'll watch it on HBO when it comes out.
Hmm I
won't
think
pay any
Black
money
Adam
for
looks
it,
just
but-
like the same type of movie that Thor was. In that
But
it's a
the
stupid,
difference
fun
with
one.
Thor is that I've had many movies to be like, wow, I really love Thor as a character, and I
Sure.
don't know a single thing about Black Adam. So I saw this very generic looking superhero movie, and I was like, probably gonna skip that one.
I do think they could have chosen literally anyone other than The Rock. Not that I have anything against him. It's just that what an odd choice.
I think it would be interesting to see The Rock play a different character
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
everyone else he's played.
I don't
Other
think that's
movies.
what's gonna happen
I don't.
based
I
on
think
the trailer.
I think it might. Like, I don't know if you guys ever watched like any of like The Rock in his like WWE days,
Mm-mm.
but that was a fun character. And
What
I feel like
I-
if he channels some of that into Black Adam, it'd be a good movie.
All right.
What I really liked was that like early 2000s era of movie with a big tough guy who has to take care of a small little girl. And they befriend each other, and it's like, hey, wow, he softens up, and she's also less annoying by the end. Like that's the whole plot of like every single one of those movies, and he was in one of them, and it was great. They also recently brought it back with like the My Spy one. Classic, love it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
Whole time.
I'll check it out when it comes out on stream.
I absolutely.
I just liked all the like non-news with DC. Like they're not gonna do anything with Zack Snyder still,
Oh, I did hear
Yeah.
that.
which is pretty funny. And then also like there was rumors Henry Cavill was gonna come back as Superman, and that was just outright like just false.
Shut down.
So a ton
Yeah.
of people were disappointed for no reason.
Right.
I think one of the a very funny media trends
Yes.
that happens a lot is people getting very excited about something that no one has ever said,
Yes.
and then getting very disappointed when it doesn't happen. Like that happened recently with the God of War trailer. There was like somehow some rumor was like they're gonna release the God of War trailer on this date, and then
Mhm.
that date came and went, and it didn't happen. And then a bunch of fans got super angry
Yeah.
and sent like death threats and dick pics to the creators and design leads and whatever. It was like you created your own problem and
Don't people
got
do that?
mad at it when it didn't happen.
Don't people do that with Taylor Swift too, or like just musicians in general, where they're like, this person's definitely gonna drop their next album at this point, and then when they don't, they're like, oh, how dare they?
People
I
could
think
never
so.
do that with Kanye. Man has
Okay.
never hit a release date in his life.
Fair.
Um,
What if he pulled like a sneaky on them, and he was like, guys, I'm releasing it then, and everyone was like, no, you're not, Kanye. We'll see it 2 months after that, and then he just did.
That's the thing. Every time he announces it, I'm like, cool. I'll listen to that in 6 months when it comes out.
Right. Ugh, yeah. What a time.
It's also interesting too, especially with Kanye in this most recent album, is like if you listen to the album when it come out versus when you listen to it now, he has gone in and updated all of the songs.
Weird.
And they sound a lot better, which is good, but
Why
It's
did
just
he
funny
release
how
them
he
in the
just
first place, though?
edits them.
If he was gonna, what?
I don't know. There's a whole Kanye drama with that, but
Sure. When isn't there a Kanye drama?
yeah. Stuff with like him and his label. But
Sure. Fair. Wild.
I don't know. Marvel news. Phase 4 is coming to an end with Black Panther, and then there'll be Phase 5 and Phase 6.
The phase you didn't know was happening. Phase
Yeah,
4.
what?
I was just confused. I was like, I don't know why they're
Yeah, I
doing
thought that
so
was
many.
I don't think
I
I've
saw that
ever
news
known
as well,
what was
and I
in
was
what
like,
phase.
The only thing I know about a phase is it ends with an Avengers movie. I
Okay.
think that's how the
what
old
I
ones
thought,
were.
yeah.
Or that was my conception of it, at least. So
Mhm.
I saw the news of like, and phase 4 is ending. And I was like, well, you haven't really done anything.
Right.
How are you going to end a phase? You had like a few TV shows and like 3 movies.
Yeah, I
Maybe there are more
agree.
movies. Or probably more movies. I'm forgetting.
Kind of an embarrassing phase.
I mean, I enjoyed all the movies, but like, it feels weird to be like, and we're moving into the next phase when there's
Yeah.
the
Nothing has
last
been
phases
concluded.
have had like some kind of end movie,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
this one has not.
That was my thought too. I was wondering if they were getting enough backlash, and they're like, "How do we do this?" Be like, "Oh, okay. Well, this was just phase 4, so we're moving on to the next phase." So
It's the opposite of an emo teenager. Like, it is a phase, Mom, I promise. God.
but I'm excited for Guardians, and Black Panther looks cool.
I'm like completely indifferent to Black Panther, probably because the trailer told me nothing, or maybe I didn't see like a full trailer or something if there was a better one released. I just saw one where it was just like a bunch of different clips of just generally Wakanda. And it was like, all right.
You're describing trailers.
Yeah.
No, but it wasn't like oh, this is like, ooh, this is the thing that's happening, or like, ooh, look at that fight. It's just like, hey, look at that building.
I also
look at this person.
With Marvel movies now, like the last few trailers, like Doctor Strange really didn't give all that much away. They sort of like hid the fact that like Wanda was the villain. And Thor, they really only showed like the first 15 minutes. I think maybe they're doing a similar thing here, or it's a thing of like they just don't have that much, which could be concerning.
But it's supposed to come out
just like hiding
at the end of this year, don't they? Isn't it?
I think
Yeah.
so.
I think they're just hiding like what's going to be in it.
Right.
But Kendrick's going to drop some new music for it apparently, so I'm excited.
Is the lead still the little sister?
I don't know.
So did she ever get
The
vaccinated?
anti-vaxxer.
Right.
Did she get trapped in another country because she couldn't?
I think so.
travel 'cause she
And apparently
wasn't
like
vaccinated?
filming got delayed.
Yeah,
she got
yeah,
COVID,
that's
yeah.
yes.
Wild.
Unfortunate.
Silly little gooses. But yeah, I mentioned this before, but generally speaking, I thought the Thor movie was going to be a lot more like focused on Natalie Portman, just because of like the trailers or teasers that I saw. And then it was like not, and it's totally okay that it wasn't. Like, I want to make it clear, it was not like, I was not like, wow, ugh, this movie's ruined because she wasn't the absolute main character. But it was just kind of whiplash where I was like, oh, that's not Natalie, when it like opens up on like Chris. So that was a little awkward. I was like, oh, I feel misled. Yeah. Whole time.
So I was thinking about Marvel today because I saw like a picture of a bunch of stuff, and while it really pains me to say it, I feel like I'm starting to get less excited about Marvel movies.
Welcome to the club.
Because I saw a bunch of this, and I was like, I don't know if I care as much about some of these things. Like I do. I'm excited to see the Ant-Man. So I see Guardians of the Galaxy. But then as you get past that, more into the future, some of the titles that they've released, and I'm like, I don't think I care as much about this stuff. Like, there's going to be a Fantastic Four movie, apparently, and I was like, I don't really think I won't care about that.
Yeah.
And they're bring back Blade, allegedly, I think.
I'm excited for that one.
I-
Ursula Ali is amazing.
They can all convince me. 100% wouldn't be convinced. But it was like, just based on titles alone, I don't really care. And the same with the TV shows. Like, there's like an Agatha Harkness show, and it was like, as they get further, I was like, I don't think I care about this.
I don't know about that one. That and like Echo. I don't know if you saw Hawkeye.
Oh my god.
Yes.
But it was the deaf lady.
Although, I thought I just saw something about that it's bringing Daredevil back as well.
Yeah.
So it's like her and Daredevil. I could be wrong. I could be thinking of maybe it's two different shows.
Which
either way, Daredevil's coming back in some aspect.
I was thinking there's going to be a high barrier for entry for that show, because that show requires you to watch like maybe Daredevil, definitely Hawkeye, which Hawkeye requires you to have watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Black Widow and I don't know, it's just
and Avengers
and all the other ones.
Seems like a lot.
But
definitely...
for Echo, you could. There's not enough of her character to be like you have to have watched all these things. They could sum up like who she is in the first episode, and then you would not need to watch Hawkeye necessarily, and then you're probably fine.
I definitely like never really got into Daredevil. Like, it was always just like I think with Marvel I like need a little bit of fun. And I don't think I ever had any fun watching that show. Where it was
far
just
more
like,
serious,
yeah.
I never watched it, and someone's like, "Oh, this show is so good. It's got great fight scenes." And they showed me like one of the big fight scenes at the end, and I was like, "This doesn't really look great."
Not worth it.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I had
I
a
was
friend who was
missing
like
probably a lot of
really
the
into it.
context,
Just
but I was like, this looks okay.
yeah,
So I might get around to watching it, but we'll see.
fair.
I
Like
want to watch The
even
Boys next.
oh sure, even like Arrow, which like started that whole like CW DC universe, like was definitely a more serious show, but like it had fun moments where like it was not always just constantly like I'm such a depressed superhero. Um, whereas like Daredevil definitely leaned into that, and it was just like okay,
Mhm.
like you could be like a human once in a while,
Yeah.
like laugh at a joke every 10 episodes. Like, yeah, it was a lot, but I don't know. Was there anything else that was like super fun that was talked about at Comic Con?
Not really much else.
There.
Marvel's like saving a lot of their stuff for September, for whenever
Mhm.
Disney does their big conference.
That makes sense. Yeah. Fair.
Mm-hmm.
I was honestly surprised that Marvel did something for Comic Con. I had heard that they weren't because they're waiting for this Disney something to do their announcements.
Yeah, which is probably what they're gonna do. Yeah.
So, which is, I feel like silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like all
It's in
these
September.
corporations are like, we're doing our own thing now. Like I know that was a big thing for E3 with gaming. Like all the gaming companies were like, we're doing our own thing now.
Right.
But these conventions are like what they're for. Don't
Right.
Who cares about your own thing?
The
Just
big
like what
thing
people go to.
is with the reason they're doing this is just purely off of stock value. Q3 will be coming to an end in September, so they want to have like a big conference where they're announcing like a ton of things because D23 is essentially all the Disney news. And currently Disney stock price is not doing that well, but also everywhere across the board isn't doing that well. So the hope is that if they have like a really good conference, that will raise the stock and they'll have a great third quarter.
Sure. Disney having like poor stock is never going to fail to kind of like amuse me, just in the sense of like it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just a short-term thing. Like
Yeah.
tourism right now is just really low. In 2
Right.
years, they'll be fine. They'll be back to where they were.
Exactly. But they always get so freaked out about it, and they always take like such intense measures to be like, no, guys, we've got to like raise our stock. But it's like, come on,
Yeah.
you know it's gonna come back. Like,
Well, there's like I don't know. I love Disney news so much because it is just wild. The people that really care about it. Apparently, there's like a lot of internal drama going on right now versus like the new president, who's made like a lot of like different decisions, and like anything that's gone wrong with the company, he gets blamed for. And I don't know how much of that is
That's
true
been
and how much of it
happening
is not.
for a while. I'm not a big Disney person, so I only know like vague bits and pieces about this. But wasn't there something like 20, 30 years ago there was like a CEO that everyone was like, this guy's amazing, and it was like golden era for, not really, but like great things for Disney. He was doing good, everyone loved him, and then he retired or maybe even died, and then like since then people have been not particularly happy with CEOs.
His name was
I
Walt
could be wrong.
Disney, and ever since then they've hated CEOs.
No, but wasn't there was a guy more recently, I thought.
Michael Eisner was a big guy where it was like, for like when he started as CEO, like everyone really loved him because he made tons of great decisions. And then toward the end of his term, like he sort of looked at it as like a way to make money. So he started doing all these projects that were like sort of cheap, and all the movies sort of like started to decline, which is when they started doing a lot of those like sequels that were almost like straight to DVD. Things like Aladdin 2 or like The Little Mermaid 2, where it's just like movies that weren't really all that great. Bob Iger took over after him, and then he was there for like 15 years, and then right at the start of COVID, he noped out. I was like, yep.
Smart man.
But there's a lot of like internal drama with like him, Bob Iger, and the new president, because he stayed on a lot longer. And the new president was like, what are you doing here? Like, you said you were leaving. Why are you still here? Sort of thing.
Sure.
And the new guy's been like trying to save costs due to COVID, and so he's cut tons of random things to save money, and that's making a lot of people upset.
Fair enough.
But it's interesting because one of the areas that's gotten cut a lot is like the Disneyland parks, and Disney park fans are amazing and also terrible because they are so entitled people. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
followed Disneyland Twitter, like news, and it is just the most awful things I ever see. I love it because like they're so concerned with like the parks being like their own universes, and like when you're there, you don't feel like you're anywhere else. And they'll like take a picture or something of like a wall that's not painted correctly. And it's like my immersion is ruined. This is awful. It's like grow up,
Maybe
people.
like maybe I'm doing it wrong. Um the last time that I went to like Disney, I was like 16 years old, and I say this for Disney as well as like Hershey Park or like other theme parks that I've been to. I don't think I've ever gone to a theme park and been like, "Ugh, I'm transported." Like
No, it's
this
like
is
I'm in
so
a
crazy
theme park.
different.
Yeah. I mean, to like a certain extent, like their newer areas, like the Star Wars land, that is
Mhm.
really cool. Like the environment they've built, but also it's like
Fair.
you are in a giant crowd of people. I always look like the
Right.
promotional shots, and then people do like a realistic one, and it's like the castle, and it's just like a giant crowd of people sitting in front
Yeah.
of it, and it's like that's your experience. There's like just so many people around that, like it almost makes it not enjoyable in some ways, but like just the like level of detail they put into some things is pretty neat.
Mhm.
Universal does a good job with that. Like your picturesque Hogwarts castle is up and away, so no
Yes.
one's gonna be sitting in front of it when you want to take
Mhm.
a picture.
It's interesting too with like the Star Wars land. The way they built it is it's almost like a little bit of a maze, so you like sort of get lost a little bit. So that way
Interesting.
it helps disperse the crowds.
Right. Yeah, didn't they do a lot of things to make sure that people like wouldn't sit?
Yeah, I only know from that Jay Nicholson
Yeah,
video.
exactly.
They like removed all the benches or something.
Oh my
Right.
god, have you watched the church play Jenny Nicholson video?
Yes,
That
I've
video,
been like saving it.
it's incredible.
Oh my
amazing.
God.
I watched it yesterday. That is
Okay.
like the video for me because I have like
Yep.
so many questions. I want to watch one now because it's like I'm
Oh
just
my
wondering, like, what is the motivation? Do they like these Easter plays? Do they like just doing plays about like movies? Is there like a big
Right.
film buff, or do they just like these songs? Like I don't understand. It's so bad, it's good. Like you can't make it up.
Yeah, that's our recommendation for the week. Everyone go watch this Jay Nicholson video about some Canadian church putting on Easter plays every year because it is incredible. The entire thing.
Hmm.
Truly, anything she puts out is just such a hit. Like all of her videos are so well done.
They're my favorite. Like my favorite videos are
Mhm.
people finding some weird niche content and being like, "Wow, isn't this fun and wonky?" And like,
Right.
let's enjoy that for a little
Mhm.
bit, something you didn't know existed. And that's
Yeah.
her channel mostly. Sometimes she does like, and this is a popular movie, and I don't know
Right.
those ones to watch.
Yeah.
But the like, look at this weird thing. That is exactly what I want to see from there.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It is so good. I just love them like like the later ones. It just feels like they're tacking on like the Easter plot into it.
Yes, every time it gets more and more convoluted.
Mhm. Adam, did you have a favorite of those?
Oof. I don't know. The Avengers one was pretty funny with
Yeah.
it being Iron Man and then him like on the steel girder like rising into the air was extremely funny.
All the crucifixions.
Every crucifixion is hysterical.
I watched like
But
the
and
first
the Toy Story one that there's just a Trump character
Yeah.
randomly there.
what?
They're
And
also
you're
like,
like, this
such good
doesn't even
time
make
capsules. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I'm like so like, interested in that one because was it like someone like really thought they had a good Trump impression and so they just shoehorned it into the show, or like was that like the desire of the show, like we need to have this character? I don't know.
I think
Someone trained for months to become Trump.
I think Jenny Nicholson made a joke about it in the video, but it very much seemed like every cultural trend made it to whatever this region of
Mhm.
Canada is like 5 years too late.
Gangnam Style.
'Cause it
and
was
the,
like-
country western.
Yeah. It was like, you're a bit late on this.
So I watched like
Trump
the
did too many
first.
terrible things for him to still be funny.
Mhm.
I watched the first 10 minutes of the video and then I paused it and I was like, I need to save this for a time where I can just solely like focus on this and like either have popcorn or like knitting or something to just basically only watch this because I was like also just doing other stuff at the time. And I was like, no, this one is a hit. It needs like full attention.
Mhm.
Ugh, yeah. Look at
The Star Wars one is pretty good.
Lord. But yeah. Alrighty. What rained on y'all's parades?
So I've actually come prepared. So I was thinking yesterday about just all the different things this summer. So I've got things I can stockpile now.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
incredible.
Wow, I should do that. I don't have one.
So I was about to tweet about this, but I felt like it was too many characters. But I think my life has been a constant dilemma of should I bring swim trunks when I go on vacation or should I not? Because every time I do, I'm like, I'm going to bring them. I think we're going to swim. And then we get there and we do not swim. And so it was like, what was the point of bringing them? So the next time I go on vacation, I'm like, I'm not going to bring them. We didn't swim last time, so we're probably not going to swim this time. And then everyone wants to swim. And it's like, I can't swim. I don't have swim trunks.
Right.
And it's just an endless cycle. So then the next time I
Yeah.
bring them, we don't swim. Then I don't bring them, and then everyone wants to swim.
Incredible.
That is a big dilemma. Luckily I feel like you can just kind of stuff swim trunks in the bottom of your suitcase and it's
Mhm.
probably fine. But I definitely have the same of like, we're not gonna swim, are we? Or I'll be like, well, I don't really want to swim because I don't know. I find myself less interested in swimming these days for whatever reason. So I'll be like, and then we'll be like, it does look fun actually.
Yeah.
Fair.
But I usually try to bring them just in case.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to, like, bring them always now. But then I feel like always we're never going to swim.
It's cursed.
They really just
Bring
plan
them,
it
you'll never
around
swim
whether or
again.
not there's swim trunks in
Yeah.
your bag.
They look in your bag first before they decide.
Oh man, fair. I love that. Yeah. Did you have like a fun one from the summer, or not to make you do two? I just like I want to give the people more Ryan.
I can give you another one. I'll just do two. This wasn't really fun.
Sure.
But,
Okay.
one day I had to travel to Dallas, and as I was leaving my house, my tire light came on. And I was like, oh no, this is not great. Because this was also a Saturday. And not many car repair places are open on Saturday.
Right.
So I was like, maybe it just needs air. So I went to go fill it up with air. And the air pump was broken, like at a gas station. And I went and talked to the lady, and she did not speak any English, which was a little annoying. I was like, do you know if your thing works? And she's like, it worked the other day. And I was like, it's not working now. So you might want to get that checked out. So then I drove over to Walmart on a very low tire.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, it's going to be a 4-hour wait to get your tire looked at. And I was like,
yikes.
That's not ideal.
Yeah.
So I got on Google Maps and I just looked up tire repair places and everyone was closed. And then I found a place called L Juniors. And I found a guy who did not speak much English, but he's like, no, wait, come do tire now. And I was like, okay, I will do that. So I drove very, it wasn't too far. I went. It was very weird. I pulled up. The guy's like, get out of the car. And I was like, oh, okay. And, 3 kids ran at the car and, put jacks under and just took the tire. And, I didn't even specify which tire it was. They just knew.
This makes it sound like it was, a race car thing.
Yeah,
and they were trying to get you back on the highway.
A little bit. And, they took a gun. They, took the tire. They went inside with it. And, I was just standing there because I was like, I don't know what's happening. But, can't really leave. So, but, yeah, within 10 minutes, they'd, come out and got a new tire. And the guy's like, $20. And I was like, what? It's like, $20. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I was like, do you know what was wrong with it? And he said, needle. And I was like, okay.
That's honestly not bad at all.
It was really nice. It's better than waiting 4 hours at Walmart. But
absolutely.
L Juniors, if you're ever in Waco.
Shout out to
Keep
them.
it in mind.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I love little mom and pop car replacement places. Typically what I've found is 1, they're nicer to women. And then 2, they're always just such a wholesome vibe. There's someone who's never doing any work, and they're usually the person who maybe checks you out or maybe just kind of talks to you while you're waiting. And the one that I'm thinking of near me, the last time I went in there. He's like clearly like the dad of like the people who work there. And he just genuinely is just like, hey, how's everyone doing today? Oh my god, is everyone like having a good time? Does anyone need water or anything? Like he's just there to vibe, and it's beautiful. But yeah. How about you, Adam? Unless you want me to go.
I have no idea. So if you have got one, I won't think of one while
Okay.
you talk. But
Perfect. Oh my god. I had a sunny thing this weekend. Of I tried a bunch of different recipes, which was nice because I kind of fell into like a cooking rut where I was just like making essentially just like pasta like all the time, which I know it's
Man.
fine, but
welcome to
cooking
my life.
but like creativity wise in cooking, I was feeling like it was like lacking, and I wanted to like not lack. And so I tried a bunch of different ones. I made ice cream. That was incredible. It was super easy, and honestly really good. I made enchiladas, and then cinnamon rolls and rangoons. It was great. I liked it. It was a very like food oriented weekend, and it was delightful.
Nice.
The bad thing though was when I went to the grocery store on Friday to like pick up stuff to make all of that. They were out of so many things, and I was like, that's just kind of mean.
Yeah.
Nothing could change about it. Like if you're out, you're out. But it was also just like, come on, I needed like 10 things that you do not have.
Dang.
I guess
Okay.
I sort of have one. It's not like a real one necessarily, but I guess, okay. I am fairly on the tall side. And a disadvantage when you're on the tall side is when you shop, I will never notice anything that is on the like bottom shelf. It's invisible. I won't see it. So, this was unfortunate because I ran out of minced garlic, which, as a side note, I don't like anyone would mince their own garlic. You're insane. Buy it pre-minced.
You can buy
and
like a
shovel
huge
that
jar.
stuff in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I did. I bought a giant jar and it
Mhm.
just ran out, so I had to buy a new one. And searching, go through multiple aisles throughout the little fresh produce. I was like, don't see it. And finally, my girlfriend sees it. She was visiting this weekend, and it's on the very bottom shelf. And I was like, never in my life. It's a good thing my girlfriend was there because I would not have seen it, and I would have gone to a different store and been like, weird, they just didn't have minced garlic.
This store just doesn't sell this thing that everyone wants.
Because it's happened a couple times at this grocery store where I'll go and be like, I cannot find this thing. Weird. And
It's
so
just
now,
not-
retroactively, I'm like, maybe it was just on the bottom shelf and I am too tall.
I love that.
But good things, I guess. I went to the Renaissance Fair last weekend, which was a blast, as it always is. And I'm going again next weekend.
And you dressed up for the
Yes,
first time.
I did. I dressed up for the very first time.
Nice.
Fun. Yeah. I was so excited when I saw like the pictures from you and your girlfriend. I was like, Adam,
Yeah.
look at him go.
Yeah.
I guess maybe another bad thing that came out of that, not the costume. I thought the costume was great. But I went to like thrifting and went to buy some stuff for the costume, and
Yeah.
it ended up absolutely none of it worked. So not that I spent like a large amount of money, it's
Right.
like very few, but it was still like a fair amount of time shopping through this Goodwill and grabbing things I thought would work, and none of them did. So
Mhm.
oh well. But I thought the costume looked good in the end.
Yeah, it looked fun. It was very like he's killing it. Yeah. In the latest one that your girlfriend posted, I don't know if it was there with the one she posted with you too, but I liked her little shoulder like pet.
Yeah, she has a
That was very
little.
fun. I don't know what it
I don't know
is.
how to describe it. It's like a little dragon unicorn type thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's like a little puppet, and it has like a little thing that goes down your back, and then it loops around so you can move its head.
Oh.
That's cool.
It's super cool. The person who makes it is not there anymore, so she
Mhm.
gets a ton of compliments when she goes because the people who work there like remember this, but you
Oh, I
can't buy
love
them
that.
anymore.
Sure. Fair enough. Well, check out all the trailers that are out. Um, check the bottom shelves. Um, and have a sunny Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.